Howdy, folks.
Well, here we go again, doing stuff that'll get me lampooned as being some kind of American Ashens ripoff. Taking a look at cheap stuff from cheap stuff stores. I was a little bit disappointed with what I was able to find in the last video of this type that I did. And I think some of that might be because big box retail is getting so big these days that even cheap stuff stores can be kind of big boxy. So things like stores like Dollar Tree or Family Dollar or something like that, even those stores can be kind of big boxy and not having anything too cheesy to not put their reputation at risk any more than necessary. Or give them a reputation for being one of those cheese ball stores that sells all kinds of weird stuff cheap instead of decent stuff cheap. So it comes as no surprise that I was a bit disappointed last time I went looking for cheap stuff to make an Ashen-style video, so I decided to go a little bit further down the food chain and visit some even cheesier stores that aren't national chains, like Ocean State Job Lot. Yeah, Ocean State Job Lot is a southern New England landmark in this part of the country. It's a regional chain of cheese ball cheap stuff stores that's definitely notably tackier and cheesier than your average big box dollar store. This is the kind of store that like buys old stores and fixes them up best they can and puts a lot of cheap stuff in there and things like that. Now, I haven't been to a Job Lot in quite some time because I spend too much time working and sleeping, so I had no idea what to expect. When I was a kid, though, I remember one time my dad and I used to go there all the time looking for really cheesy stuff. One time we bought this nougat bar. It was made by it was a brand that probably nobody's ever heard of. It was called Sperlari. It was supposed to be imported Italian nougat and an imported Italian nougat bar. And what it really was like biting into sugar-sweetened concrete. I almost broke a tooth on that thing. My dad was like, "Oh, does Sperlari mean condemned in Italian or something? Man, that thing's cheap." And we found so much cheesy stuff back in the day when I was a kid that we now say "cheap Job Lot" as an insult to describe something that's cheap. Anyways, I'm sure you're all sick of looking at this blue thing on the wall, and this black table. So how about we actually put something in front of the camera? Let's start with dessert first. I mean, let's eat this meal backwards or whatever. And let's start with something that'll make you feel like you've missed out on things in life. If you've ever had a 100 grand candy bar. Yeah, you know all the jokes about 100 grand? What will you do with 100 grand? And then, of course, there was the WAAF radio DJ prank. We're like, "Hey, you won 100 grand. We won a candy bar." So it's just type it into YouTube and look for it if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, somebody decided that the 100 grand thing needed to be one-upped. And so I present to you, since 1898, the Barton's $1 million bar. I really don't think there's such thing as a $1 million bill of any sort, but you know how you know those days when you just feel like $1 million? Well, if you ever have a day where you feel like eating $1 million, yeah. What do we got here? Creamy milk chocolate. It's just like a Hershey bar with like money stuff over it for the wrapper. Nutrition facts: it's a fattening candy bar. You shouldn't eat these things all over the place. Manufactured by Barton's Confectioners in Allentown, Pennsylvania. www.bartonscandy.com. So it's good to know that by buying this stuff at cheeseball cheap stuff stores like Job Lot, I'm supporting local United States jobs and our economic recovery. Blah blah. Okay, I do enough political cynicism on my blog. Let's not bring that here if we can help it. Okay, let's quit looking at this $1 million bar. Does it taste like $1 million? Let's carefully undo the wrapper. Oh, nice. The inner foil, the nice little convenient feature when the inner foil comes out like that, and a golden ticket. I watched too much Willy Wonka when I was a kid. Okay, so basically what we've got here is a very crude-looking piece of chocolate with little things that say Barton's, whatever. What does it taste like? Well, I've heard of semi-sweet chocolate before. But I'd say this is definitely semi-sweet. Chocolate bars. Yeah, well, glad it don't cost $1 million. Then it would be the biggest ripoff in confectioners-candy history. Anyways, I do apologize if you hear any noise in the background. One of the folks on my street is completely and totally OCD about constantly mowing his lawn. About half the time I've gone to try and record something, he's decided to mow his lawn. I think the last time he mowed his lawn was like 2 days ago or something. He's out there making his lawn look absolutely perfect before Hurricane Sandy comes and trashes it. Because that's exactly the thing to do before a hurricane blows through, is make your lawn look absolutely pristine. And burn all that $4 a gallon gas to do so. Whatever. Okie dokie. Now, when it comes to B-stock, secondhand, defective merchandise, blah, 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 etc., scratch and dent, that kind of stuff, if you go to, say, a discount clothing store like Marshall's or something like that, you might find, what's one category of product that those cheap stuff stores often sell? Although with the noise I'm making, you can tell what I'm about to show you comes in a bag. Just trying to, I almost ripped it open. Trying to get the little thing, the punch-out thing that you, whatever. Anyways, what's one of the categories of not-so-perfect merchandise besides scratch and dent you can get from a discount store? Irregulars. Like, say, now we got some hillbillies going by in really loud trucks. That's just what we need right before a hurricane. Anyways, irregulars. You go buy a pair of discount jeans and one leg is maybe like a quarter of an inch longer than the other. Stuff like that. I've heard of irregular clothes before, but I never thought I would see irregular jelly beans. It's made by Jelly Belly too. The same folks that bring out big name brand here. Jelly Belly belly flops, irregular jelly beans. So the ones that don't come out all that perfect wind up in a store like Job Lot. Those little globules of mouthfuls of sugar and stuff like that. Yeah, and I was trying to get this little punch tab thing off, and it was stuck. And I pretty much ripped open the bag trying to get that off. Anyways, let's finish mutilating this bag and see what these look like and taste like. So yeah, it looks kind of like a kidney bean instead of a... So yeah, let's see what we got there. It looks like, shouldn't dump them out like that. They look like anything from little rocks to kidney beans. Manufacturing defects never tasted so good. Let's try one. Oh yeah. Check this one out. It looks like an Easter egg. Bits of stuff there. How about eating... Hey, look, an emerald. Dinosaur egg. Yeah. Well, definitely. When it comes to jelly beans and stuff, I'd say that these manufacturing defect jelly beans are still quite edible. Of course, it is Jelly Belly, so what are you going to do? Okay, so moving away from candy and moving more towards regular snacks. Now, the classic potato chip has been done to death. Everybody and their mother's uncle out there that manufactures potato chips keeps trying to find new ways to sell the same old stuff. Ooh, look! Pringles, potato chips that come in a tube. Oh, look, Lay's Stacks. Lay's attempts to copy Pringles or something like that. I don't know. Oh, look, kettle-cooked chips. Oh, look, gluten-free chips. Oh, look, chips made that are completely organic or something like that. There seem to be potato chips for every occasion, including Co-Fresh salt and vinegar flavor potato snacks. Now, these aren't chips per se, but so who is the wise guy that was like, you know what? We need to put a spin on the classic potato something or another that people shove into their mouths. Let's make potato snacks that look just like pasta. Salt and vinegar, huh? Well, how do these taste compared to, here's what they look like. How do these things taste compared to potato chips? Yep. As I thought, they're only shaped like pasta. They're basically like baked chips. They're kind of like baked chips, except they look like you're eating raw pasta out of the bag. So if you ever want to fool your friends, bada bing. Bon appetit. Let's have a few more of these. Yep. Definitely salt and vinegar. Let's take a look at the back of the bag. Our salt and vinegar flavored potatoes are, darn spider tripod. Our salt and vinegar flavored potato spirals are made from the finest quality ingredients. Ingredients, blah, 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 potato type stuff, in a couple different languages. Suitable for vegetarians. It's always nice. Allergy information, storage, best before sometime early next year. Yeah, so I don't know how many different types of snack foods I'll see, but alternatives to potato chips that look like pasta. There's an interesting idea. Anywho. Okay, salt bomb, salt and vinegar chip thingies, pasta look-alike, whatever's aside. Sometimes you just got to get away from potatoes and just make chips out of all kinds of other stuff too. That's another thing that a lot of snack food manufacturers like to mess around with from time to time to try and give you the impression that you're eating something besides the usual. And well, let's just say I was looking through Job Lot and I saw this. Simply 7, see if I can get it in the shot here, Simply 7 sea salt pomegranate chips. Pomegranate chips! What the heck? What do these taste like? It just look goofy enough that they're pink. Pink chips. Yeah, it's pink chips. Any artificial dyes or food colors? Oh no. Simply 7. Look, no artificial colors or flavors. So these really are pink. What do they taste like? Anything? Nope. They're your classic, slightly healthier, crisp type chip thing for people that want to get away from greasy potato chips. It's like dried out carrot chips or something like that. There is a little hint of sweetness to them. Or it could just be, like, I don't know, aftertaste from the irregular jelly beans. I don't know. They do not taste like potatoes. They're certainly munchable like potato chips. But now the weird part, sea salt, just a pinch. I don't really taste any salt in these things. If they added just a pinch for how many chips? Let's look at the packaging here. What are pomegranate chips? We took one of the most antioxidant-rich ingredients we could find, the pomegranate, and baked its flavors and nutrients into an all-natural bite-sized chip. Pomegranates have been used in cooking for centuries because of their robust flavor and nutritional attributes such as vitamin C, vitamin B, and potassium. No wonder these wholesome chips are nutritious and simply delicious. Yeah, this would make pretty decent health food if you're trying a good alternative to health food, but I don't know about health food, but they do make a pretty decent alternative to potato chips. But if there's salt in here, I certainly don't taste them. One more handful and we'll try something else. It's almost like someone tried to flavor those chips with a little bit of some kid's breakfast cereal. There's just a hint of sweetness in there. But if there's salt, it's really hard to make out. Alright, we better move on to something else here. Alright, next up. Now, if you visit convenience stores and truck stops and places like that, you may have seen some of these, like, you know, soup and go type things that Campbell's and Progresso and other soup manufacturers are doing, where you just got some little microwave cup thing that you heat up and just take it with you. Soup on the go or something like that. Well, I never thought I would see that kind of packaging with hot chocolate. Copper Mountain Hot to Go Hot Cocoa. See what we got here. Made with real cocoa and dairy milk. Well, there is actual liquid in this thing, so that's kind of cool. It's so easy. Microwave directions. Shape well before opening and microwaving. Remove plastic top, set aside. Pull tab on inner lid, remove and discard. Remaining metal ring is safe to heat, blah, blah, blah. 60 seconds in the microwave, unless you're in a convenience store microwave, where you got those really powerful commercial microwaves that burn everything in a pinch, in which case it'd be 45 seconds. Let's stand in microwave for 30 seconds, replace red plastic cap, and enjoy. So apparently you're supposed to, it's like a sippy cup for people on the go, I guess. Delicious blend of real cocoa and dairy milk. Well, this must be like vacuum sealed or something like most canned goods, because this was sold at room temperature, and it's not ever gonna be refrigerated. So let's give it a shake. Let's check it out here. And remove the cap. Okie dokie. You're supposed to remove the cap and take the lid off. How the heck do you get the cap off? Caution, contents hot. Still fighting fallout from that. Uh-oh. I may have to get the toolbox out to get this cap off. Ugh. Oh, come on. What about this thing? Need to get some tools. Be right back. Finally got that obnoxious thing off. If this stuff didn't sell in the convenience stores and truck stops, I can see why. Whatever. And get this lid off. I can get the lid off. It's going all over the place already. Well, at least we know it's liquid. Can I get the lid off without it spilling everywhere? Oh, yeah. That's not a good sign. It's straight to the top. We're gonna have to do this off camera to not get hot cocoa to go all over the rug or something like that. Be right back. Okay, coming out of the microwave, this stuff is still a little messy. You know, if the grab and go stuff isn't grab and go, then what's the point? Of course, that's the way things usually roll with stuff in these discount stores. When you see something like this, you always got to ask, why is it here? Why didn't it sell somewhere else? Okay, let's put this sippy cup to the test and see what it tastes like. Hot cocoa to go. Ugh, yuck! Oh man. I've never in my life tasted hot chocolate that tasted that much like a mouthful of chemicals. Yes, yeah, I'll stick to the Swiss Miss powder, thank you very much. At Copper Mountain, we're committed to providing you with a delicious hot cocoa that fits your on-the-go lifestyle. Copper Mountain Hot To Go is made from gourmet cocoa and dairy milk. Go ahead, eat and enjoy, yeah. Not exactly Ovaltine or Swiss Miss or anything like that. Just, oh man, there's just a bitter aftertaste to this stuff. That's really the only way I can describe it. Is compared to every other form of hot cocoa I've ever had in my life, including tacky hot chocolate that they had at like smoke-filled auction houses back when I was little, and my folks used to take me out to the auction every Saturday night. I don't know, a way to get us out of the house or something. This stuff is just, one more sip. I am gonna, imagine you could do like a drinking party dare to get someone to chug a lug of this stuff. It does taste like chocolate. If you mixed it with, it's kind of like a flat version if you ever had Waste Watcher chocolate fudge soda. It's almost like that. But I'm gonna finish the rest of this off camera and be back after a long, big, tall glass of water. Okay, so we're really moving across the spectrum now. We started out with candy and chocolate, then we moved on to snack foods, then hot cocoa that tasted like a mouthful of chemicals. How about some stuff that could actually constitute as part or all of a meal? A taste of India. Spiced rice with raisins. Alright, they got these a taste of things all over the place, like a taste of China, a taste of Thai, and then of course a taste of India. Mix it up, make it your own, add this to something to make a meal out of it, because this isn't one in and of itself, I guess, I don't know. It's rice for Pete's sake. But anyways, instructions, put in the microwave, dump the envelopes in. This sounds familiar to a ramen noodle dish, except it's probably rice. What's in this stuff? Jasmine rice, soybean oil, onion, shallot, tomato paste, garlic, ginger, palm syrup, potassium chloride, salt, coriander powder, etc., etc., etc. Every freaking powder under the sun. I just got this because it's rice with raisins, and I've had some Indian food here and there. I'm a big fan of various forms of biryani, but I've found that one of the interesting things about Indian food is the combinations of stuff that you don't see in other types of food around here. Like, for example, mixing rice with raisins. Also using cinnamon as a kitchen spice instead of something you bake cakes with or something. So this should be pretty interesting. All right, let's see what this is like here. What do we got? Something that's easy to rip, obviously. Of course, yeah, look at the box. It looks like some kind of takeout from some restaurant. I'm guessing that's on purpose. What do we got inside this thing? Okay, pouch number 1 with, of course, the raisins and the curry powder sauce stuff, whatever, I don't know. And looks kind of like a packet full of rice. So do we have to boil that in water, or do we have to boil that in water? Oh, no. Remove all envelopes from the carton and add 1 cup of water. So everything comes out, we dump the water in, add the contents of all envelopes and stir. So the coconut milk, the raisins, the curry powder, whatever this stuff is. I don't even want to know. The rice all go in at once. Microwave on high for 4 minutes, remove carton and stir. Then leave it open to microwave for another 2 minutes, and then let it rest. Rice is pretty tricky to cook in the microwave, speaking from experience, but let's give this a shot. Okay, the rice, the brown spice powder consisting of every powder under the sun, and the coconut milk powder and everything has been stirred together, and it looks absolutely hideous. So what does it look like after being microwaved like the instructions say? Okay, everything's been properly cooked, and like any good Indian food, it stunk up my kitchen with the smell of spices and stuff like that. Yeah, who needs air freshener? We can just cook Indian food a lot. Okay, Taste of India, the finished product, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, where'd it all go? Mix it up. No, knock the camera over. Mix it up a little more. Good. I'm just glad. That's nice, because this looks like the rice soaked up all the water. Well, that's good, because this was really looking like soup when I put it in the microwave. Okay, so rice with raisins. What does this taste like? And is it really gonna burn? One thing I should mention, though, before having any of this. Apparently, the folks at Taste of India think that people have really tall microwaves because, as you can see, everything's all pressed down. This thing barely fit in my microwave. I almost was worried that spinning around and stuff, the flaps would knock the thing over. But, okay, what does this ricey type stuff taste like? Rice and raisins and a bazillion spices. In 3, 2, 1. Exactly. Sorry, I'm not used to eating rice with raisins. Exactly what Indian food should taste like. A bazillion spices, and all the food does is give it its texture. It's actually pretty good. Well done. Of course, this isn't really cheap stuff. It's more like exotic stuff you're not going to find in the local supermarkets. I imagine Job Lot probably buys this stuff in bulk, so they can be like the only store selling it. Some of the supermarkets have like international sections, but it doesn't have as much. As much stuff. Like they might have like different types of ramen noodles in the Asian section, having that count as quote unquote Asian food. But I almost never see Indian stuff. Really good. I'm going to be having this with supper tonight. Yep, folks, whatever, these last 3 items I'm doing, some combination of them is going to be supper tonight. The rest are going to go in the fridge, and probably be breakfast tomorrow morning. Next item on the docket, Your Honor, is one of the things I just got done talking about. The Nongshim Shin Bowl Noodle Soup. Gourmet, spicy, 3 minutes in the microwave, and it's soup. Well, now, I've seen these in the Asian section in some of the supermarkets around here, and I just gotta have more of that rice later on. Yummy! Okay, let's put the Indian stuff off to the side and get to some not-so-Indian stuff. Nongshim Shinbol noodle soup. I saw someone at Job Lot like buying a ton of these things. Might be because it doesn't look like it's your typical ramen noodles or anything. No MSG added. Take a look at the nutrition facts on the back. Oh, but it still has a ton of salt in it. 36% of what you're supposed to eat for salt every single day, and 2 servings per container. So yet another salt bomb. But I mean, it's yet another Maraca-style soup bowl that you can do like music stuff with before you. This other stuff. Directions on the back. It looks like ramen noodles. That's one thing I'm not really a big fan of is when these companies try to make what's essentially ramen noodles look all exotic and stuff. So I'm gonna have some more of that Indian rice while this is cooking. See what we got here. We got nongshim. It looks very similar to the Nissen bowls I was working with yesterday. Cooking directions: add the soup base, some water, and in 3 minutes. What is it? After microwaving, leave the product in the microwave for 1 minute to cool. I got a feeling, with how good that Indian rice is, that this stuff is going to be undoubtedly, if I can get it open, that this stuff will probably end up in the fridge for later. Some of that rice is sticking all over the place. Okay, first thing we gotta do, again, with this Job Lot stuff, that you need tools to get the wrapping off of it. Maybe that's why it wound up at Job Lot. Cheap Job Lot. What do we got inside this thing? Oh, yep, it looks like a ramen brick with a flavor packet thingy. Oh, joy. Why do these companies have to try so hard to make something so basic look so exotic? Microwave time. Well, I do apologize for the sudden drop in video quality, but as you can see from the mess on the table as well as the camera sitting off to the side, we've had a bit of a mishap with the shin bowl. Just for the heck of it, does it taste like anything other than ramen? Oh, nope. Not too impressed. Sadly. Ooh, wait a minute. No. Very, very spicy compared to your average ramen noodle packet, but prepared in very similar fashion. I am sad to say, though, that we're going to have to cut this video short because we had a bit of a mishap, which is why I had to switch cameras. You see, I've been going through this cheap Job Lot food for so long that my poor little camera here decided to commit suicide and fell headfirst into the soup. I think this is the end of this Samsung SMX. I've pulled the battery out, but I'm going to need to get like a photo kit. You know, there was water dripping out of this thing. The data on the card is still okay, but I'm going to have a hell of a time ever getting this thing to work again. I think, sadly, that this Samsung SMX camera with its 4-hour battery life and all this other fun stuff is now officially toast. Oh joy, electronics, gotta love them. Since this isn't anything special, this can go in the fridge, and I'll just have the Indian rice for supper. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay reminding you, never, ever, ever use a spider tripod that can tip over near liquids. This is MultimediaJay signing off. Thanks for stopping by.